everyone.
Friends, it's Alexa and Mackie, and today we are talking about our 2019 bookish resolutions. Funnily enough, we reviewed our 2018 resolutions, and we actually did pretty good.
Yeah, actually.
Not quite the way we expected to, but we did pretty good.
Pretty darn good, yeah. I mean, we failed on like just like the one thing or like half
one
the
thing each,
yeah.
maybe.
So, which is great. So, it's nice to set goals that can be met, and so
we're gonna keep trying to do that.
Yeah, and so in the essence of just trying to be authentic and just trying to just be real for the next year, here are some of the things that we've resolved to do for 2019. I'll kick things off as usually do because the lady gets the last say because she owns the blog. So in response to us reading our resolution, watching our resolutions from last year, I want to clean up at least half of my TBR before mid 2019, which is BEA, which is the end of our bookish new year.
That is no easy feat,
That is not an easy feat, but since we've sort of counted our bookish new year from the start of BEA onwards, like that's the new year, we want to just clean up all of that stuff. So I've got about 6 months to at least cull or read through whatever 2018 TBR, which is basically all of it still. Here's to me hoping that that's gonna work.
It's funny too because my first resolution is something very similar. So I started a project earlier this year. I don't talk about it that much, but I called it Read or Die. And so I'm continuing that project into 2019. It's basically just me trying to read more of the books that I already own versus buying new books. Not to say that I can't buy new books, but prioritizing, what I already have. So the only thing I changed about it is that I can't count anything that I bought this year as part of it because that's what I was doing last year, to sort of like shimmy my way through that. So this year I'm really like determined to at least do something very similar, which is read at least half of them. There's not so many of them now, so maybe I will be able to do it this, bearing in mind that I have a ton of Kindle ones that I pretend I don't own because I can't see them.
Oh my goodness, the Kindle books. That's right.
But yeah, so basically we're both just determined to clean up our TBRs.
My second bookish resolution for 2019 would be to fear not the DNF.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And return to the love of reading. I've heard from Alexa as she coaches me through the kind of book bloggery lifestyle. At the end of the day, what started this whole thing out is because you love to read, and so I shouldn't be too afraid to just sort of, this isn't for me, and just sort of put a book down. Not because it's bad or if it's not for you, it's not for you. And one of the authors that I love from this year, Levi Block, basically said that at a panel where he's like, life's too short to read like books that don't make sense to you. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something to the effect of, whether it's my books or anybody else's, if it don't make sense to you or if you'd rather be reading other things, well, just do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you're not really hurting anybody. It's not you. So I'm gonna try to be more real and say, you know what, this isn't for me, and I'll move on now.
That's a great attitude to have, which is one I like live and die by. My second one is sort of similar to something I said last year, which is to read at least 6 classics. I have lowered the number because it is very intimidating sometimes to think about classics. Like children's classics are fine because they're not as lengthy, but the bigger classics are always intimidating to me because sometimes they can be very long. So my goal is just to read 6, which means I have 2 months to read each classic, which should give me enough time to finish some of the ones I am considering reading. So we'll see how that goes. So
my third resolution, in line with clearing up my TBR and not being afraid to DNF, would have to be prioritize the books that I actually really want to read. Yeah. Meaning to just be really honest and go, okay, we got these in the mail maybe, or oh, there's this really cool new thing that everybody's talking about, or hey, I got these books because these look awesome, but to sort of prioritize and say, but this is the pile that I really want to read. Like to be honest about that and not to just go, well, everything's, this one's coming out in this month and that month and what have you, to just be super honest and say, but I want to read these first. So whether it's a reread,
right? You shouldn't like hold yourself accountable to just dates.
Yeah, so that's, again, just trying to be kind of real and just go back to the love of reading. It's, you love these stories, and so you go for it. Dive headfirst and eat up, basically.
I agree. My next goal is to finish 3 series. I have a couple of books in mind for this because I am holding on to a couple of like series finales, series sequels on my shelf, and I would really like to finish some of them.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be nice to finally be able to say, like, I completed a certain series, and I'm thinking of a particular one that Maggie Stevewater wrote that probably everyone's going to be like, you haven't finished it yet? No, I have not. So I am determined to do that. I was really good about reading series this year, and I think this is not going to be very hard for me to do. So I'm going to try my best to get through a couple of particular series.
My fourth resolution for 2019 would be to think of one new cool thing to do on the channel and kind of really stick to it.
Oh, I like that one.
Right, like for example, I mean, we tried our foray around kind of like having like author kind of reviews where we try to do all things Tamara Pierce, and then we had plans to do other things. And sort of those, like life took on a life of its own, basically, and life became life, and then we ended up just kind of going back to our defaults, which are the, what we reads and the hauls and these one-off special videos. But for me, I was always thinking if we're gonna sort of like, what do we want to talk talk about. I would just want to think of one. So please, any suggestions? Right? A lot of you have asked me for recommendations. Some of you
recommendations.
Some of you said, "Hey, we can talk more about comics," which I really wanted to do anyway, and I was going to do. It's just I haven't been super serious about it, you know. So
you want us to just like sit here and talk about one random person or like
one random thing,
author. I mean, one random author, one random book, TV shows. You tell us if you have any ideas.
And to just sort of stick to it, right? Like you know, maybe 6 sessions or 7, whatever. So I was thinking of having like a Marvel Unlimited minute because I am a Marvel Unlimited subscriber, and you get to read pretty much everything that was published 6 months ago, so and beyond and prior. So just to sort of like talk about that, it's like a minute. What's new, what's hot, what's not, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see.
My next goal is something that is inspired by something I managed to do this year without even trying, which is very odd. I want to reread more books that I've loved because for some reason in 2018 I was like on a rereading high. I reread 28 books. It was so fun. Most of the stuff I reread I'm still so in love with and I still appreciate for what they were to me at the time and what they still are to me now, and I think it would be so much fun to keep doing that in 2019. I would ideally like to reread some of my favorite series, but I also know that rereading series is a bigger commitment, so I'm just gonna say I will try to reread books and we'll see what happens from there.
My 5th thing that I really want to do this year was to sort of really scratch off specific titles. Like we are going straight for the heart here.
Ooh, yes.
And I have like it's almost kind of like Kill Bill where you kind of scratch names off the list, and I have 5 titles that I absolutely have to get through 2019, meaning in spite of like my prioritizations and everything like that, yes, huge, but I have to get rid of these
but these are all still going to be subjected to that. If you don't feel like they're for you, you're going to drop them, right?
Absolutely. Okay. But at the same time I also kind of want to go Kill Bill and go, well, you know what, one by one. And so here are the 5 huge titles that I really went through. First, really literally in this order, like if I was going to do any order, it'd have to be this, and it's the Fushigi Genbu Kaiden. Basically that's the entire story of the priestess of Genbu, which was alluded to in the story of Fushigi. Okay. And it's a prequel. I want to read that prequel. I have all the volumes, and these titles have been sitting on our shelves for an inordinately long period of time.
Okay.
And it's time to scratch them off. So that's one. I want to read The Magicians, finally. I mean, season 4 is out. I'm up to date, but I just have to read the original books by Lev Grossman, so I just really need to do that. 3rd is Throne of Glass. Not even the whole series, just Throne of Glass. Yeah. Like, I think that's more doable than reading all the way to Kingdom of Ash and all of the novels. I mean, for all we know, I end up to be just as much trash as I am for them as I
will be
Shadowhunter.
Very excited if that happens.
She would be very excited, and I think the conversations in this household would be infinitely more interesting.
He would understand all the references I now throw around about it.
And all of the pop vinyls that are customs right in the back. So there's that. The 4th thing is everything Rick Riordan. I really do have to catch up. I have not done... the Apollo series is awesome. The Magnus Chase series is awesome. I just have to read everything else now. So that I think
you are caught up on those at least. I am not caught up on those.
I've only just read the first book for each. So we got up... So it's 4 books. We can do 4 books, I'd like to think. And the imprints. And the imprints, of course. So all things Rick Riordan. So that's about 7 books. Doable because they're middle grade. And finally, Grisha. All things Grisha. Gotta have that. Liber Duga is magnificent. I love the way she writes because I did read Wonder Woman, the only Liber Duga book that I've read, and I really just want to scratch these 5 off of my list this year. Meaning, just even if it's just the first book, Shadow and Bone, just that at the very least. I would like to think that I can count this resolution like checked off at the end of the year if I can do that. So
I think that's a good
one. That's my number 5.
The next resolution I have has nothing to do with books.
Yeah, we're moving on to the things that we just want to do.
We're moving on to like a couple of other things. So the thing that I want to do is to finish 3 animes, because we are watching a lot of animes and I would like to finish them so we can move on to another set of animes. So I ideally have a thought where I want to finish watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which we're somewhere in the middle of. I would also like to finish watching Fairy Tail, which I am quite enjoying, but we're also somewhere in the middle of. And I also want to restart and finish watching Inuyasha, which is also a very long commitment. All of these shows are like multiple seasons, very long, but I think they're doable. I mean, if I could watch Naruto in like less than a year, I'm pretty sure I can manage to watch all 3 of these and be done with them. And yeah, I would really love to do that, and I'm sure Maki would love to watch me yell some more. So
no, yeah, that's always the fun part of seeing her. Like when I take her through a series and I know I've been through, I'm just like, what's she gonna do when this part hits? That's part of the fun for me, apart from actually watching it. My number 6 thing, again, it's a little kind of veering away towards kind of bookish, but still kind of involved with the whole creative process, is I want to create and run a tabletop RPG set within the parameters of the Shadowhunters mythos. So Kristen from Super Space Chick and Andrew from Team Silver Space and Alexa and I have been playing Dungeons & Dragons on and off for the last few months, pretty much half the year through.
Yes.
We've done about like what, 3-4 kind of really big campaigns set within a larger sort of like story arc that I sort of just brewed up from whatever, and we had so much fun. And then with Kristen and myself being huge fans of the Infernal Devices, and of course the world, Alexa will get there soon. Because we love, you know, playing Dungeons & Dragons, and I run the game, and I love doing that too, we thought, would it be fun if we had like a Shadowhunters themed kind of RPG? And I know they're out there, people have run those games, but I've figured out my own way of how I want to run a game, and I have some ideas on how to do a Shadowhunters RPG.
So fun.
And I didn't want to set. And when Kristen said, "Hey, we should do something like that," I thought, "Yeah, but I don't want to play in Cassandra Clare's, sandbox, because I'm just like, really, how are we going to interact with those characters?" And then she did something in Queen of Air and Darkness that Kristen and I have thoughts and feelings about. But because she did that, that gives me, I think, every reason and license to like, we can make our own now, thanks to what Cassie Clare did. And so that's the deal. And I'm really going to go all out. Like, I'll create like the character stats, and I'm going to create like all of the spells, but this time it's going to be runes, and then you get to choose like what race you're in. And it's really just any combination of angelic, demonic, human, you know, and any combination of same. And really just run through the game. And I really feel like I can prepare that, I can build that from scratch. And just once, and I'm thinking of you, Jane, if you're ever gonna watch this, to like, if ever you're in New York, I kind of want to run this, and to have a really good time. And I feel like I can do it in such a way that even Andrew, who's never read the series, is gonna be like, yeah, I'm down with that. I can pick like a race, and then just like make sure that we're all fighting the good fight, and you know, defeating the big bad together. So just the one game for the year. It can be a one shot, or if we like it so much, it'll be super awesome. So it'll be like D&D meets Vampire the Masquerade meets Numenera meets, you know, Fate Core.
That's a lot of things, but okay.
Because it's its own thing, but set in the Shadowhunters kind of mythos. So not necessarily the Shadowhunters world, it's the mythology of it, so that's kind of cool.
Well, my last thing is more just like a personal thing that I want to do, and it has to do with video games. I want to replay all of the Kingdom Hearts games and also play the new game, and hopefully finish all of them before the end of the year, which I could probably do, because once I start playing games sometimes, that's all I do. So I would ideally like to do that. If I could do that and then also manage to finish a game that I started called Octopath Traveler, that would be great. I would also like to finish Let's Go Eevee, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be done with that soon, so just in case, I'm going to throw it in there. But yeah, I would love to play more of the video games we have. We have a lot of them, but I tend to favor the ones that are old favorites for me, like Kingdom Hearts, and new favorites like Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah, well, she's on Let's Go Eevee, I'm on Let's Go Pikachu. I feel like I'm gonna switch to Eevee like after I like max out the game, so that's cool. I didn't put video game resolutions here because I have bigger fish for me to fry, and my last resolution for me is basically to game and to write more. So at the very least, I want to write one complete story this year, whether it's my book that I finish or it's like one of those novellas that I've sort of been working on. I want to do that. I want to write at least 3 songs, because I've let my music go for way too long, I think. So just the 3 songs, even if they've already written them, it just means I got to record them and put them out there. That'll be it. I need to finish Resident Evil 2. Oh, did put gaming here. Speaking of gaming, I need to finish Resident Evil 2, the Final Fantasy VII remake, Let's Go Eevee, and Let's Go Pikachu.
It's really fun, guys.
And so much more D&D that I can't
handle.
D&D! So it's the year of gaming and writing, and I feel like it's going to be a good 2019 if I do all of these. So
hopefully we will be able to crush our resolutions list. But we would love to know what you guys have on your goals list for 2019, bookish or otherwise. And we hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You can look forward to at least one video from us every single week, whether it's bookish or other things. We will see you guys with another video soon.
Happy New Year. Bye.